One more minute. It seems like somebody having trouble connecting. Guess we can start. We can start.
Okay, welcome to the West Town Township Board of Supervisors regular meeting on Monday, July 20th. So I want to announce that the meeting is being recorded on Zoom and streamed on YouTube with a slight delay. The township will accept public comments remotely via Zoom only. Remote participants are asked to remain muted except for when making a public comment. During opportunities for public comment, the chair will first invite public comment from in-person attendees, and then will ask for public comment from remote participants. If you would like to make a comment remotely, use the raised hand icon in Zoom and turn your camera on. When the chair calls on you, please unmute yourself and clearly state your name and address for the meeting minutes. Is anyone recording this meeting? Okay. So we'll call the meeting to order and we'll start Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
So prior to tonight's regular meeting, the board met in executive session to discuss personnel and legal matters. The board also held a workshop prior to tonight's meeting to continue discussions relating to the trash and recycling service costs. To learn about the statutory process for the sale of township-owned real property and to accept public comment. So although no agenda was posted, which was a mistake, an honest mistake, all content was posted from the meeting prior to this one. And we're not going to be voting on anything that we discussed during that meeting today. So moving on to the approval of the meeting minutes from July 6, 2026.
Second.
Right.
Make a motion to second.
I'll make the motion. I move that we approve the meeting minutes from July 6th. You want to second that, Fred?
I second. I'll do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Moving on to departmental reports. Have our treasurer, Mayor Bars.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The general fund ended the month of June 2026 with $9,655,957.11. Our open space fund had a month-end cash account balance of $1,553,866.66. Our sewer fund ended the month of June with $2,480,060.85. Our refuse fund had a month-end cash account balance of $722,083.28. Our capital projects fund had a month's-end cash account balance of $2,028,180.84. Our debt service fund cash account balance as of June 30th, 2026 amounted to $1,722,541.61. Our capital reserve fund had a month's-end cash account balance of $7,620,311.59. Our liquid fuels fund had a month's-end cash account balance of $777,648.05. Our escrow funds managed $1,011,682.94, giving us reconciled cash and balances in all accounts, all funds, as of June 30th, 2026, amounted to $27,572,342.97. So we do the bank recs. The treasurer's report on a monthly basis, along with Neil, we're beginning to work on the budgets, and continue to work on the capital budget, along with Public Works Director. And the new assignment that we just got this evening was we'll put together a 3 to 5 year reference projection. And hopefully have some information for that. That concludes our.
Thank you. And next we have the planning commission.
So Jack is unable to attend today.
Okay. All right, so moving on to Chief Leahy for the West Palm East Coast Police Department.
Thank you very much. For the month of June, the department handled a total of 1,864 calls of service for West Town and East Goshen Townships. Specifically, West Town Township, the department handled 851 calls for service. Year to date, as of June 30th, calls for service in West Town Township equal 5,633. Some of the incidents that our officers handled in June included 8 animal complaints, 2 burglary reports, 31 motor vehicle crashes, 3 disturbances, 1 domestic disturbance, 3 drug offenses, 1 DUI arrest, 15 erratic driver complaints, 10 fraud reports, 4 harassment reports, 4 mental health cases, 1 sex offense, 2 simple assaults, 4 theft reports, 36 traffic related incidents, 7 opening checks, and 8 warrant service. Our officers handled 497 proactive incidents in the month of June, in West Town specifically. 124 traffic stops were conducted in West Town during that time. The breakdown of all our incidents can be found in the Police Commission agenda packet for June on our Crime Watch webpage. Some information going on in the department. I'm proud to announce that for the first time in the department's history, we just hired, after an extensive hiring process, 5 full-time officers. Those officers, typically historically we've hired part-time, and we've been hired full-time from that point on. This is the first time that I know of that the department's ever hired full-time out of the gate. So it's very, very encouraging. 4 of the 5 officers come to us from other police departments and have prior experience, while the 5th officer is fresh out of the police academy. Once the 5 officers complete their field training service, we'll introduce them to the residents through our Crime Watch page and our social media outlets. So we would look forward to that. Just want to get them through their field training and keep them focused on that before we introduce you to them. So I want to thank the Police Commission in both West Town and East Goshen Townships for their support during this hiring process, during this important milestone in the department's history. With the increase in the popularity of electric bikes, electric scooters, I want our residents to be aware there are some restrictions and laws regarding their use in Pennsylvania. E-bikes require the operator to be 16 years of age or older. They cannot weigh more than 100 pounds. They must have an electric motor of 750 watts or less, and riders should obey all traffic laws. Electric scooters, which are very popular today, cannot be legally operated on public roadways and are permitted to be operated on private property. Many people don't know that. So technically, basically they can only be ridden if you have a long driveway or if you have a property that has the capability of the scooter to ride. So we see a lot of kids riding around, and it is very dangerous. So we want you to be aware of that. For more information on the use of e-bikes and scooters, you can visit our Crime Watch page. We have a whole listing there of different restrictions and guidelines. Lastly, just a final reminder that the police department is going to be hosting a Pennsylvania license plate replacement event this Saturday, July 25th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the parking lot of the East Goshen Township building, located at 15th Taylor Pike. So if your license plate is faded, damaged, or hard to read, officers will be on scene. They'll be able to assist you with filling out the appropriate paperwork to get your license plate replaced. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to public comment, non-agenda items. Do you want me to bring it back to you? Okay.
Congratulations. Here we go.
It looks like it's on.
Yeah, it's on. We can hear you.
Anthony's information aimed right now.
41-year resident of the township, and I'll be brief. Just some follow-up questions from the last couple of Board of Supervisors. First, for first Joey. At the last meeting, I asked that the April 20th press release that was taken regarding the comprehensive plan be added to the website. On the Credly section of the website, hasn't been posted yet. Is there a date that might be put on?
It's not the press release, is it the statement that Supervisor Yost has made?
The 61 people that we had here. I don't think it was ever released in public, and since that was a pretty important statement, I think it ought to be posted on the website.
I will do that, sorry. It was on me.
And the second question for Mr. Mag, since we didn't get a chance to do any vetting of our own public as the supervisor, I have 2 questions. One, how did you vote on the Credly question? Yes or no?
Excuse me,
How did you vote on the Credly question? Yes or no?
in favor.
There. Secondly, how many township meetings have you attended in the past couple of years?
I can't keep count. I'm counting. One,
Just curious to see how much background you had in terms of coming to the meeting and knowing what the issues are. Please.
well, let me tell you, I'm also 9 years with the Line Battlefield, which you now are a part of. So we have a lot of experience in that area in conserving battlefields. And we are at a state level, very much concerned that credibility is a reserve problem.
That's our way. And then the third question, more around process. I think your first meeting was on June 15th.
I don't know.
Of this year, but you also were reintroduced to us on July 6th. And at that June 15th meeting, there was a resolution 2026-07 that A was not posted on the website as part of the agenda, and the actual resolution wasn't there. It was open to the public, which people didn't have advanced knowledge of what the resolution was. You actually took a vote on it, board did that day. But the fact that was that only human vote? Was it all the votes taken at that meeting on June 15th, null and void?
No,
Because he was put on board on June 15th. You took the resolution without the stuff being published in advance, without this for public feedback. But then you were reintroduced and re-voted, put into office on the 6th. So aren't all the votes taken at the June 15th meeting null and void? And I actually posed the question on why the process took place to Mr. Buchanan, but I haven't heard back.
I believe on the July 15th meeting, when Mr. Magner was reintroduced, we also had another resolution in that meeting where we ratified all of the other issues that were brought up in the previous meeting, and it was voted on at that meeting.
On the 6th. Yeah, the 15th and then next meeting was the 6th. Right, well, the main thing is trying to get that thing posted on the website, and when people know exactly what the position is, if they didn't make that meeting on the 20th, they can at least read it for themselves, so. Thank you.
Any other public comment on non-agenda items? All right. Moving on to old business. We're going to consider the extension request regarding preliminary development approval for the Stonecroft formerly Stokes Estates residential subdivision of 78 single-family homes.
Could you please introduce yourself, sir?
Certainly, my name is Victor Thompson, I'm the Vice President of Land and Council for Keystone Custom Homes, and in this case, Fox Clearing LLC, which is the owner of the track and scope property. With me is Jeremy Matters from Howell Engineering. He's the engineer representing the company that has put all of documents, got the preliminary plan approvals with the township.
Well, for the benefit of our audience, I think we have to give a little bit of introduction here, so Jerry, why don't you?
Right, I just want some information, I just want to public, everyone, go ahead. So Fox Clearing LLC has requested an extension of the previously granted preliminary plan approval to allow additional time to submit the final plan and all required supplementary data. The subdivision and land development application calls for construction of a residential development consisting of 78 single-family detached homes, internal streets and sidewalks, pathways, bus pullover area, utilities, pump stations, stormwater management facilities, landscaping, community recreation facilities, and lighting. The proposed subdivision will be accessible via 2 access points off Shiloh Road at Hunt Drive and Oakhorn Road, and will be served by public water and sewer. The proposed stormwater management facilities include 5 combination surface subsurface infiltration basins located throughout the subdivision to control runoff. Open spaces consist of wooded areas, meadows, riparian areas, corridor, and common open space to serve for passive and informal active recreation needs, as well as a tot lot with gazebo and additional parking area. The applicant proposes a naturalized trail surrounding a portion of the development with potential connection to the township open space. The application is subject to the settlement agreement of November 18th, 2024 between Fox Clearing LLC and the township. At its November 3rd, 2025 meeting, the Board of Supervisors granted preliminary land development approval for the application, subject to several conditions. Following the approval, the applicant was required to submit a final land development plan and all required supplementary data within 60 days of the board's action, unless an extension of time was requested and granted by the Board of Supervisors. The 60-day submission period expired on January 2nd, 2026.
I'm the only supervisor here now that was involved in the previous activity with Fox Clearing, so
Certainly.
I'm gonna kind of follow along with all of the documents that you gave us, 100 pages of documents on Friday afternoon, and just before the meeting, sending a email requesting the 60-day extension, so
Correct.
we're perfectly willing to give you an extension, but we're not going to be discussing any of the particulars because our board has not had a chance to see anything. Now our consultants are here, so this is kind of out of order as far as I'm concerned.
Well, tonight's request was not for any, but we readily admit that with the recent submission, that we anticipate no action on the final plan that has been submitted to the township. We understand that you have to go through the normal course of review, staff and outside counsel. That was just submitted as part of our overall submission packet, but we're not here tonight to discuss that. And obviously with development agreements and such, there are legal documents that we'll go and discuss with the council. Obviously part of our improvements and escrow agreement as part of this whole process as well, that we're responsible for those reviews. But just as a brief summary here. So it is not easy to get third-party approvals in the state of Pennsylvania for projects, especially with residential developments. We had a series, and have been going through a series of outside agency approvals, including the DEP with our NPDES permit, as well as general permit 5 for crossings and whatnot. There has been a statewide moratorium on general permits being approved because of issues with DEP and the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. So a lot of these applications and permits are on pause status right now. I have Mr. Madras here who can go through the list of issues that that we're dealing with when we have been, actively moving forward, with faith, diligent, pursuing all of these things. And I would state that, under the FTC, we have protection for preliminary plans. So, not to say that's an excuse, and we certainly should have had, extension before the board up until this time. But, we can demonstrate that we show with all of our submissions that we've had with the various submissions with the DEP. So I think we had 3 rounds of comments by them. We have sewer planning, sewer pump station here, a pump station that has to go through approvals. And that's been several rounds of comments by various agencies. So, we're doing our level best. It's not something that we will hold in this course. You understand that with the length of the comments that happened over the course of this project for years and years. I mean, we wanted to start working a few years ago on the project. Unfortunately, because of the requirements that we have to go through, which is the process. So I did request 60 days. I will note the preliminary or the final plan was submitted to the township, which stands not to be reviewed or discussed. But we think 60 days will give us an adequate time to get our GP5 permit in and get the other approvals in. And in such time, if we are running afoul of that, we will be here, with plenty of time for me to put on the agenda and come and ask and explain why we need additional extension.
Yeah, we discussed this with our attorney and he assures us we are more or less obligated to give him that extension, so.
I appreciate that.
So, okay, I'll make a motion to help these. So I move that we approve the 60-day extension request submitted by Fox Clearing LLC for the previously granted preliminary plan approval, granting additional time to submit the final plan and all required supplemental data. Second.
Any comments from the board?
I just wanted to say that there's also a whole flurry of regulations coming down from the Senate and the House regarding this. If you look at SP 1267, just passed the Senate, 50-0. And there's another House approved one, 2446, which pertains to. So these are things that are coming down at the same time as this, and also they're on vacation. So it makes it difficult to, we discuss this.
I appreciate the courtesy. Thank you.
Any comments from the in-house audience?
I just have one comment. Would they please have printed copies of the plans? We only received the digital submission. I still need printed copies, 14 copies.
I will put Mr. Madison and head off and drive it outside and we'll make sure it's 14 copies.
Thank you. Yeah, PDF is too extensive. It does not open up
Okay.
for the plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's
thanks.
do it.
Any comments from the virtual audience? What, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
So. Okay, moving on to new business. Consider a resolution declaring the Darlington Inn property surplus and authorizing appraisal. This resolution declares a 2-acre township-owned property known as Darlington Inn, tax parcel ID 67-4-29.4B, as surplus property. Adoption of the resolution will authorize the township to begin the process for the potential sale of the property in accordance with applicable requirements. This also authorizes the appraisal.
Motion?
Motion, second.
Make a formal motion. I move to adopt a resolution declaring the 2-acre township owned property tax parcel ID 67-4-29-4B, known as the Darlington Inn property, as surplus property and authorizing the appraisal to determine its fair market value.
I'll second it. Any comments from the board of supervisors?
No?
Any comments from the audience?
I said, let's reiterate what I said in the workshop, I think that we should find an appraiser who's familiar with historic structures, familiar with facilities.
You speak loud, we can't hear a word you're saying.
Maybe move that over to.
It just,
There you go.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll repeat that. As I said in the workshop, if we just, when we solicit appraiser, we just have an appraiser who's familiar with historic structures. And familiar with facade easements, so when we do that appraisal, we do it with facade easements and do it without, so we can keep that up in contrast. We also want to think about possibly resurveying the property, given that PennDOT has completed its construction expansion of the 926 to 202 intersection. And as I've learned from my 35 years of experience as an architect, what's wrong is rarely built. So I would recommend that we do another survey of that property to confirm that the PennDOT has completed has not been different from what they've drawn in plan. Because we had such a tight constraint on that 2 acre property, so if it's below 2 acres, then the C1 zoning would require a variance. Okay.
Any other comments? Any comments by the virtual audience?
I don't see any raised hands.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so authorize the township manager to execute the extension option for municipal waste contract. Pursuant to section 8B, contract duration and years of the township's current collection, disposal, and recycling services agreement with AJ Blazinski Incorporated, a waste connections company. The township has the option to extend the contract for an additional 1-year term. Staff recommends exercising the extension option for 2027, as it is anticipated to be more cost effective than soliciting competitive bids for a new contract.
Okay, motion needed to authorize the township manager to exercise option year 2 with AJ Blazinski Incorporated in the amount of $1,421 $877.71 per municipal solid waste and recycling contract.
Second.
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the in-house audience? Any comments from the virtual audience?
No,
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on, considering the 2026 road program for South Concord Road and Cider Knoll Way. So Cedarville Engineering has reviewed the 2 bids received for the 2026 road program for South Concord Road and Cider Knoll Way. And recommends awarding the contract to this responsible bidder, G&B Construction Group Incorporated, in the amount of $285,837.80.
Motion needed to award the 2026 road maintenance program contract for South Concord Road and Cider Knoll Way to G&B Construction Group Incorporated in the amount of $285,837.80.
Second.
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the in-house audience?
there's,
Bill Cheska is 1025.
it's gonna be hard to hear.
We're only doing one side of the road, we're doing one side of it.
Oh, it's both sides.
Both
It's entire roadway, not the state-owned portion, the township-owned portion.
Sure.
Yes, yes, the entire road. No.
Wow.
Okay, any other comment? Any virtual audience comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Dr. Wagner has been appointed by the Board of Supervisors to fill the vacant supervisor position, and as a result, he's no longer eligible to serve on the Historical Commission. And Stephen Orhoptic has submitted his resignation from the Historical Commission. We thank them for their dedication to the West Town community.
Motion needed to accept resignation.
Do you mind say I motion to?
A
I'm
motion-
sorry.
a motion too,
Correct.
needed. To accept resignations of Fred Niner and Stephen. Steve, how do you pronounce your last name? I don't know. How's that?
Wow.
And from the historical commission.
Second,
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the in-house audience? Any comments from the online audience?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sitting on the road. That's my,
Can you speak up?
Can't hear you.
I just want to say thank you for Steve for his great service and a huge asset to this organization. An immense asset to the township. And I'm saddened to have to accept his resignation because he's an incredible man, incredible professional. And it was a pleasure to do work with you, Steve. I really appreciate it. I'm saddened that you have to for this.
Okay, sorry, no, other comments or from the virtual audience? Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay. The Board of Supervisors would like to address recent public comments and newspaper articles suggesting that the Historical Commission's membership are related to the potential sale of Darlington Inn. Those suggestions are incorrect. The board's decision regarding the appointments is unrelated to the Darlington Inn or any position taken by the commission members concerning the future of that property. The board periodically reviews appointments to its advisory boards and commissions and has the authority to appoint and remove members as it determines appropriate. Because this matter involves individual appointments to a township advisory body, the board will not discuss specific reasons for its decisions in a public forum. The board appreciates the service of all volunteers and thanks them for their contributions to the township.
Motion needed to remove all members of the historical commission pursuant to section 170-244. C of the township code, specifically Pat McDonough, Ada Walter, Pamela DeRose. Daniel Campbell and Christine Gonzalez, thank you.
Second,
Any comments from the board? And
comment.
you don't need to pass it. Okay, the historical commission is not being dissolved. The board intends to review the commission's responsibilities as set forth in the township code to determine whether any updates or revisions are appropriate. Once the review is complete, the township will begin accepting letters of interest from residents interested in serving on the commission, including any former members who wish to be considered for appointment. Any comments from the in-house audience? Do you want to stay in line?
Good evening. My name is Jim Sala, president of the Chapter.
you can hear.
Please speak louder, sir.
I've been on board of directors of CCHPN for over 8 years, so the last 3 years as president. In addition, I come from the perspective of municipal governance. I've been on my township historical commission for over 20 years. Our planning commission for over 10 years, our ordinance task force for longer than that. And I'm in my 4th year as the chair of the planning commission. And I must say, when I read the agenda suggesting removal of all the current commission members, it suggested to me that they were looking at gross incompetence or negligence, although what you just said is not consistent with that statement. But I know several members of this Board of Commission in West End. And I know them to be dedicated to addressing the mandates of the historical commission and having the credentials to do so. In fact, Dan Campbell was a valued member of CCHP's board directors, as well as being the president of the Mid-Atlantic chapter of the Society for the Preservation of Old Mills. In addition, to his experience as an architect and understanding old structures. For your ordinance, their mandates can be summarized as follows. The mission and purpose of the Historical Commission is to foster a community appreciation of the rich and varied history of the township. The mission includes educating residents about lands, buildings, sites of historic, architectural, archaeological, and cultural significance, and the people who work, farmed, and live there. The commission's primary purpose shall be to advise the Board of Supervisors, the Planning Commission, and the Zoning Hearing Board of Township matters on matters pertaining to the historic resources of the township. They are actively fulfilling these purposes. Beyond this, they are working to satisfy the goals laid out in the comprehensive plan, which include review and to review and revise as necessary existing regulatory provisions to provide incentives for preservation of historic structures and their landscape settings, including additional use and adaptive reuse opportunities, density, and other design and area and bulk incentives. Considerations for the revision of the historic resource ordinance, which is also a goal of your comprehensive plan, is to provide incentives for preservation of historic structures and their landscapes settings, including additional use and adaptive reuse opportunities, density, and other design and area bulk regulations. Amend the demolition permit process for inventory of historic resources to discourage demolition and to promote discussion of viable alternative uses. The Historical Commission has prepared a draft ordinance to update and address these items, and it's been waiting on adoption of this for months. These goals and considerations of the comp plan are based on the results of a survey of the township residents as part of the comprehensive plan. The survey indicates there is a strong support for the preservation of historic resources of the township. The protect historic building structures and landscapes and promote their preservation item in this survey had 63% of the respondents indicate that this issue was very important to them. Note that the promote economic development and expansion of the township tax base item received 21.5% for very important and 33.9% for somewhat important. The total of these responses being less than the very important response to historic preservation. Removal of an established board with the desire and the credentials to address and advise the Board of Supervisors on an issue that's clearly important to the residents of West County Township is not a benefit to this community. These people have been working toward this earnestly and with dedication, and to remove them and insert an entirely new group in, it makes no sense to me, and I don't think it's consistent with the desire of the community.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mark Evans. I am the Vice President of the Chestertown Historic Preservation Network. Mr. Rocky, Mr. Foster, Wagner. First, I want to thank you for your service to the people. As sitting Vice President of the Township Board, in my 7th year right now, I understand the commitment and sacrifice every one of you makes on a daily basis to ensure your township is not only being run smoothly, rising to surpass the needs of the future, but the decisions are made and funds are allocated in ways which reflect the desires of our constituents. As for removal, there's not a question whether this Board of Supervisors has the legal authority to remove every member. It's clear in your chapter 117, article 24, historical preservation, that you have that legal right that they serve at the pleasure of. The question is whether doing so without a clear public explanation that reflects the transparency, respect for volunteer service, and careful stewardship that residents should expect from local government. As the vice president of CCHBN, I'm gonna frame it this way. Your actions, should you go through, are causing a threat to every historic commission in Chester County. The questions become, can commission members offer independent professional advice without fearing wholesale dismissal? How should supervisors treat volunteers whose recommendation they don't agree with? What standards of transparency should apply when an entire advisory body is dismantled? How can municipalities preserve institutional knowledge and public trust during changes in leadership? Neither I nor the Chester County Historic Preservation Network has identified a comparable case in recent Chester County history in which an entire functioning municipal historical commission was removed at once. If you proceed with this, it is an unprecedented, and at the minimum, extraordinarily rare. I have a couple questions I'll ask. In my township, the board of commissioners answer questions. You don't have to, but I would like you to. If you don't, I can ask Ms. Carter, thank you for your service. I know you were, I think you're also the director of planning and zoning. That's a lot. First, two. Who initiated the request for the planning resignations? You sent letters requesting that the members of your historical commission sign resignation letters. Who initiated that? Was that you?
The Board of Supervisors.
Oh, okay. When was the decision made and under whose authority? When did you sign on that?
You just said not too long ago that it's not disputed that we have the authority.
No, I'm asking, well, when did you make that decision? I mean, I would answer my constitution.
Okay, well,
When did you make that decision?
it's been something that's been on our minds for a while.
So you've been talking about it amongst yourselves?
Well, no,
Because I mean, someone had to give Ms. Carter the directive to send these resignation letters out. So there had been a vote amongst you as a quorum to determine to do this. When did that happen? That's what I'm asking. I can't just tell my township manager to send resignation letters out without having a vote of our entire board of commission.
right, but we're voting on that in the committee today. We
You
haven't voted on it.
voted to tell her to send the resignation letters out. That's a really simple question. Is it you? Who said, Ms. Carter, your township manager, you work for me, which is what? I want you to send resignation letters out to all members of the historical commission. Whose directive was that? And when did that happen? And I know there's been a question about the sunshine law. And, all right, there you go. We'll move on since that's a hard. What specific conduct or deficiency is alleged against each member? I'm sorry, I said a little bit, I'm not used to serving people and doing, well, wait, I'm not. I really was looking for an answer. Oh, calm down. What specific conduct or deficiency is alleged against each member?
There's been a long history of problems between the Board of Supervisors and the Historical Commission, going back a couple of years. And it's just been a problem that this was the only way to deal with it.
I appreciate you answering my question, Commissioner Foster, but I'll also say, you just heard the president of CCHBN, Jim Buxela, give down the list of reasons why this is a very effective historical commission. We might not, when we're sitting up there, like the way some of our commissions are doing things. But when we have the power, we need to humble ourselves and work with them. Bring them in, talk to them. Has that happened with your solicitor president?
Yes.
You've done that in executive session?
Yes, we have.
Thank you. Why is every member being treated identically despite different terms, backgrounds, and references?
That was the cleanest way to deal with a lingering wrong.
I hear you, but Mr. Foster also suggests to me that the cleanest way to deal with this lingering problem was to wait until one of their terms expired and not reappoint them. That's how we've had to do something. And so we're involving a woman whose husband was pled guilty to child pornography. I had to look at this woman every day. That's the cleanest way, is to let the term expire. Otherwise, it's oppressive and sending a really bad message to volunteers. Not just need volunteers. If volunteers are saying, well, look, he said something they didn't like, they all got checked off, I'm not gonna volunteer. Thank you for your answer. Was the commission in whole or any individual member given notice and an opportunity to respond that they were going to be sent letters of resignation to sign? No? Okay. Was the matter discussed in the executive session?
I think we are going on for more than 3 minutes now. I know we have a lot of people
There are a
waiting.
lot of people here, I think.
I understand, sir, it's very important. You're about to just take out.
I think everybody here has very important things to say, so
And also.
appreciate your time.
No, but I represent the largest historical group in this county. And you can shut me down, and I think you've done that a lot with this historical commission. Flexing power is not strength.
You're right. You know, I'm a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
and
So you know, I heard it.
yoga. Yes, and this is for all of the people that I teach. This is the year of power.
Yes.
And we are talking about using our power for good,
For good.
for good. The historical commission has not been working well with us as the Board of Supervisors.
I will yield my time here,
Thank you.
but I will say this. As the Board of Supervisors, it's your job to work well with your commissions.
You're right. We work well with all of the other.
Do that, work with your commissions, don't.
Hi, my name is Erica Wiley. I live at 1137 Colby Lane. I was a member of the Historic Commission for 6 years. I was here when Dave Foster had started the commission. And I've been a part, I helped found Westtown Day, other initiatives. I worked with the pre-building, Safe Pre-Building Barn. And I just want you to know, you guys live in this township, you're elected. And you're doing exactly what you should not be doing, and everyone knows, your name's right in the building fire. You're being covered by this stuff, what you're doing is wrong, you should get shamed, and I wanna know why. I do wanna know, why Lincoln, you would dismiss an entire commission, and I was a volunteer for 6 years, former chair of the historic commission, I would really like to know why, what did they do? That's all I need to know. You guys can't answer this, this is supposed to be open discussions, just what happened? You're not.
We are not going to go.
You just started, what are you doing? It's unbelievable. You're being not transparent at all, this is all being recorded. I just really, really, really think you guys are all gonna regret this. And Mr. Foster, I know you regret this. It's really a shame.
Old Trent, 8 Old Portland Road, here in West Town. First off, a short quote. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. But we don't need to repeat it if we remember. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the current commission. I've sat in on a couple of their meetings and certainly not found them to be hard to work with.
Stop it.
So my experience has been somewhat different than it appears yours is. But going into this most important year of West Pound's history, in a year and a few months, we'll be celebrating 250 years of the Battle of Brandywine. Who better to help plan it than a historical commission and seasoned veterans? What was said about volunteers earlier really is true. If we don't treat them well, they won't show up. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jonathan Hoppy. I'm a former member of the West Town Historical Commission, current member of the Mount Vernon Historical Commission. I will always speak in defense of my colleagues, and I wish I weren't kept here tonight, speaking in their defense here. I know this street can be inconvenient. I know working with people can cause all sorts of tensions, and I know that dealing with that sort of tension can also be inconvenient. What's more inconvenient is when you ignore the people and you ignore the history. Because we've seen what happens in this township when that happens. That's how a developer put a house on top of a graveyard on Mandy Road and then ended up having to get a court order to remove bodies because, oops, they dug into it, found them. That's also how people in Pleasant Grove have bodies under their driveways because the supervisors, not you guys, but as a body, let the developer go ahead and do it. Whatever difficulties you may have, removing the people who may disagree with you, they are there to advise you based on their professional knowledge. To remove them all in a blanket sort of way right now is not only unfair to them, it's unfair to you, and it's unfair to the residents of West End, whose sense of place is determined by the history that surrounds them. One question I want to pose before I wrap up, if it's be very brief, is how do you want history to remember you? You want history to remember you as people who were able to accept criticism, to work through difficulties and go on, or to clear everything out, as has been the case in West End past, and leaving you with basically an empire rolling over to supervising the empire of track path. Thank you.
It's just the top part of it, the top part of it. There you go. Yeah. Do you mind state your name and address?
Good evening. Thank you for holding this meeting. I'm here to urge the board to vote no on item 7.B.
We cannot hear.
And with that new information that was given, that was very helpful. As elected supervisors, it is vital to remember that there's a fundamental truth, and that is that you work for us. We chose you to represent this community, not to rule it. And this community deeply values conservation, space, and the historical legacy that places like Beverly Farm represent. The Historical Commission's literal job is to be watchdogs for our heritage. They are supposed to raise red flags, ask tough questions, and occasionally disagree with you. That isn't dysfunction, that is logical democracy working exactly as intended. Purging a board of unpaid volunteers simply because they refuse to be an echo chamber for your agenda is a massive overreach of authority. If you think this board has unlimited power to silence dissent, look at what happened in Missouri a few months ago. The local board went against the community's wishes for a different reason for centers, that, and the community turned around and threw those board members out. It proves a critical point. Local officials do not have as much power as they think they do. The public will only tolerate so much overreach before demanding accountability. We're starting to see here. Silencing our historical watchdogs leaves West Town's land and history unprotected. Our historical commission members are our neighbors. They donate their own time for free to this township. They deserve a seat at the table and our respect, not a pink slip for having a spine. I urge the board to reject this motion and respect the people who elected you and choose transparent dialogue over retaliation. Good evening, Allison Woodburn, 1001007 Beatty Road. Not only am I a resident, I'm a former member of the Parks and Rec Committee, so I also was a volunteer. I resigned from that committee around the time Mr. Foster was elected. Sadly, that became my decision to resign. My question is, and the board has stated this has been an ongoing problem for a few years now with our historical commissions. There's one common denominator to Mr. Foster.
David Walter, 937 I'm a founding member of the Historical Commission, and for 13 years now, I've worked diligently to obtain submission. I won't go into all our achievements in those 13 years. I think they're evident from most of the residents of Westtown. I'm upset that I've been disrespected and the members, my colleagues have been disrespected. And I want to point out that several of them are still working in professions, and for them being summarily fired could hurt their business reputation. I don't think that's right. As for me, I waive my rights of privacy, and I'd like to know what charges are brought against me specifically so that I have the opportunity to answer them. Nothing? Thank you.
Road, Township. I'm going to take you service. And setting up to do this as a volunteer organization, myself, I understand that this is difficult. I understand difficulties of this. Appreciate that. As you can see, us local historians are a pretty tight community, and we understand about a lot of other people how important local history is and how it does need representatives. So I think that dissolving the entire commission seems odd, and the lack of transparency as to why is confusing and upsetting to our community. We also, as stated before, interested, knowledgeable, able volunteers are hard to find, and filling a whole commission full of people who are able to do the things that this commission can do right now could take a long time and lead oral history without any safeguards. We're not doing that. I am on my own local historical commission, but do not speak for them from the app, so that you know that. I did see some worry, and I heard it mentioned earlier about sunshine law violation possibly being the reason for removal, and I know that you cannot give specific reasons, but if in fact that is what it is, I would ask that you at least delay this code until you understand exactly how sunshine laws work. I am also, I operate in a capacity, and I must strictly adhere to sunshine laws, and I know that they are difficult, they're a little nuanced, but people are allowed to meet as long as they are not discussing, and not even discussing, but deliberating or voting on, giving their perspective or their opinion on town, for this would be township information, township business. So I just want to put that out there, but that's the reason. But I think especially for some people, an understanding of sunshine laws would be really important thing to know. It really is. So, like I said before, and working with colleagues can be really difficult. But I think taking the route of removing an entire body who works tirelessly
for something that is really important to not just us as lovers of local history, but to the residents of the township that look to you to appoint good people and keep good people and work with people, even when these differences arise. They look to you for that type of leadership. And I think that, renewing the entire commission is not the responsible person to go about this news. I urge you to, not read these numbers, and thank you for your time.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Lyons, president of the State of Foresight Farm and associated with the group of Friends of Shiloh African Methodist Episcopal Church. I'm completely dismayed over this course of action because we are veering from cooperation in a moment of American history where we need to be united. I want to say something about Dave Walter and Steve Hadley that I've had the honor of working with over the past 7 years. These are men who are dedicated to their craft. These are brilliant men and thinkers who have volunteered thousands of hours to enrich the lives, humanity, intellect, character, and story and legacies of the American people in this year that we're celebrating. We have to work together. When I presented to this body on this idea we had to place a historic marker in front of one of the oldest AMP connection churches in the country, it was a moment of unity. 14 United States colored troops, 140 graves. Their names may have been buried, but their lives and their commitment, and contributions to our community are never forgotten. And we were graced by Mother Bethel's new African-American female preacher, Reverend Cadmus. She's the first female preacher in the history of that church, and she spoke, she volunteered her time, she volunteers. That's the character of our community. That's how a lot of challenges. I respect them. Please don't fire these people. They play a fundamental role in the story of the American people. Thank you. Yes.
Elizabeth Morrow, 105th Avenue Road, Pennsbury Township. I'm here representing you, Mr. Presley. And I'm listening to all of this, and I just want to thank all the volunteers who helped us in the effort. It was many, many years. Time, talent, treasure, all volunteers working together as neighbors. And that was the essence of what we did. And the thing that concerns a lot of us is after all that we did, that there's a lack of transparency with what's going on in this board. Will that extend to what happens to Crowley Farm? It's a bad precedent to set. And I think I know you work hard. I understand. I'm running for public office myself. I know the hours of dedication that we give. But we can't let our own personal feelings supersede what needs to be done for the better of the people. And I think this community is suffering because it feels like there's a lack of transparency with things. And that's why the article, and that is why people are getting upset online. When there's the absence of truth and the absence of information, people will drink the sand. There needs to be honest transparency with what happens in this community because it goes just beyond Westtown Township. It's to all the neighbors who love and care for this community and who have given so much to see this stuff happen today. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Craig Williams, the state representative for this area, representing also Westtown Township, including through Kingsbury to the west, Chester Heights to the east, and Westtown to the north. I came here tonight because I saw the press accounts of what was about to happen this evening, and I couldn't imagine it would be true. So I wanted to come here and get information for myself and hear your explanation. A little astonished sitting here in the audience that there has been none, except for it's just hard to get along with people. I'll offer you this. When you sit at the House of Representatives with 102 of one party and 101 of another party, it's pretty hard to get anything done, and yet we do. Some of my best friends in the General Assembly are on the other side of the aisle. In fact, one of them is the state senator from here, and we bring tens of millions of dollars back to this community because we can work together. I don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes with respect to your historical commission. But I do think you owe us an explanation. All of us. And difficulty working together and solving problems is never a justification for shutting out debate. Never. Like the comments about regular farming, where a number of us who did a lot of work to make sure that that historical property is preserved. The family itself, the state government bringing money, the federal government bringing money, the county government bringing money. The taxpayers of West Town bringing money. Everybody banded together to save that property. And every time there's an opportunity to save open space in the 160th district, all the way through Chad's Ford. I make one comment to the parties who are looking to save those properties. We live in a historic district. We live in a historic district. Many of us live here for that reason. We live in a historic district. Tie all of your arguments back to the Battle of Graham. Tie them all back to the Battle of Graham. As a consequence of that, we've saved so many properties in the region, both on and directly adjacent to the Battle of Graham. Now, I don't know the arguments about the historic nature of buildings at 926 and 202. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me that. All I know is what I'm reading in the paper right now. And then I hear about wholesale removal of volunteers. I suggest to you that we need a more wholesome explanation of this. I suggest to you that now, just like I fought back on rate increases at PICO and PICO withdrew that case, now is an opportunity for you to entertain amongst yourselves a motion to table this. Go back into your closed session, formulate a statement for all of us to read, specifically articulating why these people should be removed, and present it to us. That's what government is supposed to look like. Government is an opportunity for you to engage with me and vice versa. I do it on the House floor every single week. I bring an argument for my people. Today, I hear my people making an argument to you and you sitting there stone faced. You should be tabling this, go back in your sessions, come up with a statement, and if you can't, or you're unwilling to, table this induction. Thank you.
Good evening, Christine Gonzalez, 2204 Lead Support, Chester, Pennsylvania. It has been an absolute pleasure to serve on the Historical Commission. When I started a year and a half ago, I was in my glory. Every month having the opportunity to hang out with other history geeks, learn, share my experiences, but really just be in awe of the incredible wealth of knowledge that's on this commission. And it was a joy to come to every single meeting and share our love of history. When I was interviewed by the board a year and a half ago, Tom was very, very clear in asking about my ability to keep the economic needs of the township in mind if they differ from the goals of the historical commission. I said, I can do this. What I didn't realize at that time was that there would be no conversations between the board and the historical commission to find common grounds. And this is not just trying to get the historical ordinance approved. But there's problems and issues with individual members of our commission. Occasionally, in the past few months, Mila would send us emails when issues arose. Sometimes we would respond and clarify our side or apologize if we made a mistake or didn't understand the rules. But there's no opportunity for discussion, to understand each other better, to find ways of working better together. I am astounded that we are in this position today. This just makes no sense. I'm used to, if there's a problem, talk to each other. If I had known that this is where we'd end up, I would have insisted at every one of our historical commission meetings every month that we would address all of Mila's emails and get to the bottom of these problems so we could work together. There's so many ways we do. I'm disappointed that this is where we are today. I've been checking to see has this ever happened before, and I found no precedent in the past of dismissing an entire historical commission. There's been discussion online of potential violation of that sunshine law or act by the historical commission. I believe there may be a misunderstanding that this happened at the Chester County Historical Network dinner and award ceremony last month. There's a potential for people from the historical commission to attend. There was 3 there. No problem with the sunshine law there. There was no quorum. I'm very disappointed that we have not had, that I will not have the ability and my committee members to craft more history talks, to finish editing the presented the updated West Town history book, to write more history articles for our newsletter, Gazette. And finally, I'm really disappointed in the board that you took us to this point. It didn't have to go this way. Thank you. Can't hear you. Speak over to the mic, please.
Keith McDonough, 704 Road. I'm currently the chairman of the West Town Township Historic Commission. And I first want to start off by thanking my colleagues for, I calculated about 70 years of service in this township. And 3 founding members who are still on the board for 13 years have served on this historic commission. And what's amazing is in those 13 years, we've never had issues with previous boards, which is a testament to the historic commission, testament to boards, and I was equally surprised that this motion has become for us today. I understand Jody had voted to decline this motion, which I appreciate her. And I guess I won't reiterate the mission and purpose of the historic commission that was previously mentioned. But I also want to thank the board. I also, I'm sorry, I heard that from source that I thought was reliable, but first I want to thank the board for bringing forward this motion, because you have now shed light on what the historic commission has had to deal with over these last several years. So I appreciate you bringing this to the forefront, because not only do you bring public comment here, but you now showcase the mission of the historic commission of trying to save the history of this township. Since nothing was mentioned in the motion today, I do want to take this opportunity to highlight great things that the historic commission has in fact accomplished in just 1 year, this past year, and has been overlooked tonight. Something about my bullet point, updating historic ordinance and map as requested by the board. And we're awaiting a draft letter to go out to affected owners from the township manager, which has been delinquent in the last 2 months now. Editing and reissuing the West Town history book in time for the sale of West Town Day. Hosting and coordinating 6 history lectures, as well as a fair event at the celebration of America 250. One of which lecture was just recently at Oakland Mansion, which was completely sold out. Hosting and coordinating student essay competition with monetary awards for in unison with the celebration of America 250. Volunteering numerous hours and providing professional advice to the board, township staff, and all citizens of West Town Township. Soliciting free documentation services for both Oakland Mansion and the Darlington Inn. Adding a new display case in the township meeting called here, highlighting the archaeology artifacts found in the key ruins. Coordinating and awarding preservation awards to West Town Township property owners through nomination and selection process, including last year's award winner Church of the Church. Coordinating the Child A&E Church and Cemetery historic dedication ceremony. Providing and purchasing and coordinating historical dedication ceremony, or ceremony for Winmore Farm, the Stratton Farm, which is owned and continuously operated by a property since 1924 and is now actively farmed and run by fourth and fifth generation family members. And then I can go on to numerous other events. And it was interesting, when I was unanimously elected the chairman of the Historic Commission, I got an interesting call from David Pomeranz. And he called me to just give you advice as former chairman of the board, and his advice was just state facts. Don't get emotional. And I think it was the greatest advice anyone had given me. So tonight I'm just gonna state facts. We've been trying to get historic ordinance passed for the last 10 years. I've been on the board for 13. So we continually try to get the historic ordinance passed and we've been resoundingly rejected. Just in this past 2 years, we wrote and upgraded an ordinance. We updated the historic map. We revised the written ordinance language as per Board of Supervisors comments. We held public meetings on 11/24. We revised the ordinance language yet again, taking into public comments. We waited 6 months for the township solicitor to review and comment. Board of Supervisors then, at that point in time, required a public letter to affected property owners to go out and giving them the option to opt out on May 26th. And then in unison, the Board of Supervisors removed the Darlington Inn from the historical resource map, draft map. We're still waiting Neil here to issue and give us a draft copy of this letter to go out to the township citizens, which has not been completed. And then in that time frame of those 10 years, we've had so many different ordinances passed. I mean, there's been a pool ordinance, there's been a fence ordinance, there's been flexible development, there's a comprehensive plan, and all these things have been able to get passed. The only one that has not been passed in the last 10 years, and it's before the board, is the historic ordinance. So those are the facts. We offered a letter back in January 2025, at no cost to the township, to laser scan and document the Darlington. We were told that the PennDOT needed to complete its construction before we could do that. Or provide a letter to the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors on March 2025, mentioning as a national register property, we seek national and state grants to preserve and retain a building at Craigsley Farm as possibly a visitor center on the first floor and then privately lease the offices on the second and third floors, thereby using the rental income from on the 2 floors to offset the ongoing general maintenance of the property. These similar approaches have been done at Roach Tree Tavern in Media, King Prussia Inn in King Prussia, the William Owen House in Exton, and many other local examples in the area. There's been created a nonprofit organization, Friends of Craigsley Farm, and we sought to seek to collaborate with them as possibly providing adaptive use and maybe seek that and provide and seek tax exemptions and reduce costs of property maintenance, building renovations, possibly working together with the Friends of Craigsley to create a visitor center for our fine new Craigsley preserve. We also provided possible facade easement requests for the historic building that no alterations, demolition, or demolition by neglect could happen with current owners, the township, and possibly new owners. We even thought maybe the Westtown Township could enter into a public or private partnership or extended tax abatement agreement, so a private owner could be authorized by the board to offset the cost of repairing and maintaining the property. This would, of course, require preserving the historic unit. If the property was to be sold at public auction, provide the property owner tax incentives such as tax abatement, zoning variances, building variances, and assist in the utilization of the historic inn and surrounding interior property. The Historic Commission was willing to offer laser scanning in existing conditions, current existing condition drawings, and professional preservation and architectural values to assist in preserving the architectural drawings in. So that letter was written to Planning Commission and copied on to the Board of Supervisors on March 25th. We asked for a written. The board then came back and asked for a written description of the laser scanning process on August of 2025. We were then asked to provide a liability professional or professional liability insurance to be on the property to do a documentation and photographic and laser scan. We were then, after that was provided, we were then asked that we do the Oakmont Mansion prior to laser scanning the document. Therefore, we were willing enough, even though the Darlington Inn we felt was at more risk, we did offer the township close to $25,000 worth of additional architectural services to document and laser scan the Oakmont Mansion. That was back in, let's see, back in January 2025. And with my ongoing emails back and forth with Neil, we still have yet been given authorization to do the Oakmont Mansion. So then we said, okay, we've offered you that. Then we were asked for a written proposal to find the scope of work, the deliverables, and the schedule with no third parties associated. That was in August 2025. We provided a written proposal. Then we were asked to separate those proposals to include the Oakmont Mansion separately and the Darlington Inn separately. We provided those two proposals. We were then asked to revise these proposals to make sure that any information garnered from these laser scanning and photographic surveys remains in complete ownership of the township. That was on April 30th, 2026. We rewrote the proposal to include those parameters. The Board of Supervisors then approved the proposal to laser scan the Oakwood Mansion with caveats that my professional website be stricken of any reference to the Oakwood Mansion, which over the course of 20 years, I've provided free architectural services for the restoration of the water tower and the restoration of the mansion. I've since sent an email to Mila asking what of my professional website is objectionable. And I've asked for her to tell me that and give me a list, and I will remove that immediately. And I have not heard a response. We also did, let's see. And then we, was part of that bit, and then the Preservation Alliance, Jennifer Robinson, which Mila had mentioned, came and gave a presentation on facade units. And then on, we were told by Supervisor Foster at the June 22nd meeting of the Board of Supervisors that the Historic Commission will never be given access to either building, but rather the township will hire an independent party to do so. On your appointment, Chairman Jody, I since starting 6/17, I congratulate you on being appointed chairman. And I've asked to meet with you to talk about how the Historic Commission and the board could collaboratively work together and work in unison to improve the Westtown Township and preserve its historic resources. And those emails, I think I sent about 5 emails, and they have not been returned or there has not been a meeting set. So once again, I commend Dick Pomeranz when he said, just state the facts, don't say emotions. I'll go on Sunshine Law Act, that's been bumped. But I will mention, when I was unanimously voted as the chairman, I was asked to go before the board with Ed Yost serving as chairman. In that meeting, I was given a list of grievances by the board, and I was told that I would do my best to amend those and do my best to make sure that the way the board and the Historic Commission works together would be more positive. In response to that, Mr. Foster said, Pat, if I was chairman, you and the commission would be fired. So, Mr. Commissioner Foster, I think you're getting your wish. I'll end on this. The connection between the former Speaker of the House, Secretary of State, and the 3-time presidential candidate Henry Clay, and the historic Darlington Inn centers on preserved stone carving in one of the cornerstones of the building. Built in 1923, Darlington Inn has become an important gathering place for Whig and Republican abolitionists, but remains a physical monument to the 19th century American political history and the anti-slavery organization. In 1843, David Taylor, a devoted Whig supporter, purchased the inn, and prior to the 1844 presidential election, he carved the face of the Whig candidate Henry Clay directly into the inn's green serpentine stone. In 1860, he added a companion carving with his black dog named Lincoln, then after candidate Abraham Lincoln. Henry Clay helped found both the National Republican Party and the Whig Party, and after losing 3 straight presidential campaigns to Andrew Jackson, William Henry Harrison, and Zachary Taylor, a reporter asked why did he refuse to change his political position. And Clay famously replied, "I'd rather be right than president." And therefore, in this instance, I feel the same, and I would rather stand on my principles and my honesty and my transparency and accept my faith at the West Hamilton Township Board of Supervisors.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You can hold it.
I'm gonna face this way because I am gonna be speaking as much to the residents on the topics that I have to talk about as the board. As some of you know, I served 18 years as a supervisor, as a 2 years in prior, something like that, and on the planning commission prior. I also worked at Natural Lands for 18 years, was there during the preservation of this property. Know about the grants that we had to get and the restrictions against with the Land Water Conservation Fund to have any building, period, that was related to it. So it was always from the get-go, the thought was never that we were going to preserve that property as part of preserving the open space and finding the funds for that. And I think it was wrong for somebody to call all of the media with wrong information. It's hard enough for us as residents to find out where the truth is here and what's going on. But that part of it was wrong. In a group, I know who called, I know why, but it confuses the people who pay for that property and are paying for the property forever. And to say that that was going to be preserved in any way is wrong. The thought was a separate entity, a building, a structure, and we would figure out what to do with it. But at no time, when I was on the board, did we want the township to own that property, that building, sorry. And people need to know that. And I have enough history with another historic commission. We have been here before. This is not the first time with some of the historic members, and they're giving the historic commission an opportunity to reapply.
No, that's not acceptable. These historic commissions play a fundamental role in their order to history.
I understand that.
There should be a law protecting historic commissions.
Fine. You can believe what you believe, but I'm going to tell you that there are the historic commission has done some excellent work over the years. There is no doubt about it. They have done some amazing work. There is also a challenge in dealing with them, and it is wrong to presume that it's the board's inability to get along with them. It is more correct to say, and the person who knows what they have been trying to express to the commission through that person. And they are saving, putting names out by not telling you exactly the legal piece of what's been happening. And I actually support the fact that they're not naming names in what they did wrong. Because they all have professional careers or they're voluntary, they spend a tremendous amount of time for the good of West Town. All of them, every single one. So, to me, I have a little bit of history working in the township. With Natural Lands and, I also volunteer with the Chester County Association of Township Officials with the municipalities of Chester County. So it's not that I'm uninformed, But I can tell you that sometimes the supervisors cannot chair the executive sessions, which are for the good of the people. Sometimes. So, sorry, I am really sorry that good members are part of this and have to go through this. Really, really, if there was another way without getting into legal complexities, I don't know, honestly. So, and I don't know the story, but I know enough to know from my experience prior with dealing with a part of that commission, that it's not the first time. It's not about not getting along. It's about more than that. It's more. So that's all I can say.
Sir, you've already spoken. You have
Already
to recuse
spoken.
yourself.
It's better be brief because we are.
There's a couple more.
We also have to-
As me, as a board member of Chester County Historic Preservation Network, we have 50 municipal members. You're familiar with quite a few historical commissions, and I must say, this is not just a functioning board. The accomplishments of this board are prolific just over the past year. I am very impressed that you're in summer tonight. This is an impressive board.
Thank you.
Okay, since all the other HC members are almost best spoken, they forced me to say something too. I don't have the fancy statistics for you or arguments with you. I just have a simple way that I describe to people why people come to Chester County. And it's not because they love the beautiful shopping centers and car dealerships, strip malls, and all the traffic jams. Because they love the historic buildings and properties, they see it all the highway, they go by. If we start losing all that back, our buildings are livelihood of taxpayers who want to do this. This township and this town, that's why I'm territorial here, so. I can tell you from that. I hate the hysterical texture experience, people love to see those properties, and it makes them hungry. So think about that and move forward.
Thank you.
I'm Jennifer Kramer, 1046 Sunbury Drive. I'm not a historian or a volunteer, so I'm not the official, I just live here. I've long appreciated the work of the historic commission, of the historic commission, both in protecting free building and in the programming they provided for the township. I'm pretty annoyed that I hear about allegations of potential issues with the commission in the Inquirer. But I'm very alarmed with the township's continuing lack of transparency about potential issues that have clearly be impacting West County. Dismissing entire commission work volunteer, while there are ongoing issues requiring the input of those dedicated to the township's history, is quite rash and unlikely to lead to a foundation-wide resolution. I'm asking you to take this issue and seek out a different solution that will not disrupt West Town's ongoing efforts to balance our history and our everyday needs. As a lifelong citizen of West Town, I fear for the preservation of both our historic character and the character of the whole. Thank you. But I have a clarifying question, do you want to come up to my?
Well, we have some people.
Yeah, let them go first, then I'll ask a question.
Okay, so,
I think Mary has been holding her hand up for a while. Mary Boyle.
go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm a long time.
Oh, we can't hear you.
I have my sound on.
I think there's some.
Should I?
Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? My sound is on.
Well, let's go to Megan and then when Mary comes back, we'll go to her.
Yeah, your microphone is on though. Mary's microphone is on.
My microphone is on.
Yeah.
Why can't you hear me?
I can hear you, Mary.
No, there's something with connection. Do you want to try Megan and then we'll see?
I can hear you, Mary.
Can hear you, Mary.
I can hear you too, Mary.
May I continue? People are saying they can hear me. Can the supervisors hear me?
Hold on, just wanna make sure. Yeah, we have it all the same system. Let me try this. How about now?
Can you hear me now?
No.
Megan, do you want to try? Can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Megan,
Yep, I can hear you too.
and I don't get this.
Just give me a second, please. There you go.
Yep.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Is it
Okay.
working now?
Yes,
Can the supervisors hear me?
yes.
Okay. I have chaired a
Yeah.
historic commission for 20 years. I created the model ordinance for historic preservation for Chester County, working with Jane Davidson. I have history in historic preservation. I was a founding member and creator of the National Historic Preservation Network. I have never seen a board of supervisors arbitrarily terminate a historic commission because you're not getting along. You have to go by ordinances. The historic commission has to go by ordinances, and there is nothing in the ordinance that states that you're not getting along. When are you going to do this to your planning commission when you don't like their recommendations on a subdivision or a land development? This is arbitrary, it's capricious, it's damaging. This is the 250th anniversary of our nation, and you're crapping on the people that have worked so diligently for years in many cases to preserve the history of Westtown Township. Further, Graybilly Farms and the Darlington Inn both have a DOE with the with PHMC, so they are both National Register eligible. So if you do not like what your historic commission says about either of those properties and any impacts that you want to allow on those properties, I suggest you have a meeting with PHMC.
Let me try something else. Hold on.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
I think next one is Megan.
Still speaking, I can transfer it. You want me to dead.
Are they still?
Oh.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
hold on.
Are we good?
Is she still speaking on video?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Hold on. Let me try it again. It's very.
Can you hear me now?
Doesn't. This is because.
How about can you hear me?
It does not connect to the
Megan, hold on. We're just trying to get it to work.
we just had EAC workshop and we did not have any issues. We haven't changed anything.
Thinking we can't hear you. We're working on the audio now. I see your transcript, I see your questions.
We can hear it at home. That's.
Yeah, the click share does not work. Sorry. So,
But telling you they can see them here better than the.
Anything yet?
can everybody hear when she's speaking from my computer? Okay, we're just gonna do that then.
Do you want me? I don't know if there's other people that want to go. I can drive over and be there in about 3 or 4 minutes if that's easier.
I can hear Megan and you figured out how to listen to me. What the hell's going on with this system?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
This is
know, but
ridiculous.
the system is pretty poor because it's been hard to hear the meeting itself.
Okay.
And I'm just concerned speaking right now that anyone else as well may not be heard. I don't know if there's a lot of speakers after me. I'll go ahead and get started. I don't know, but in the future, you might even want to enable the ability to leave a comment or something because we couldn't really even respond that we could hear each other on here, but we could not hear, you couldn't hear us. I want to start off. My name is Megan Bruns. I'm at 4 Jacqueline Drive.
Let me see if you have.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yep, we can.
Okay. I want to thank the members of the Historical Commission for all their time and their efforts. Removing an entire Historical Commission is not routine. It's just straight out of the ordinary. When a board chooses to dismiss every volunteer who has dedicated years to preserving our township's history, residents deserve more than silence. We deserve a clear explanation. Tonight, I've heard not working well and cleanest way are some of the phrases. These phrases signal to myself and probably other residents that the board is seeking compliancy, which makes us question the intentions of the board. The board is elected to represent the interests of the community. And listening to the community and the speakers I hear this evening is only the tip of the iceberg. If this decision is truly about improving the commission, we need evidence. If not, many in this community will understandably question whether independent voices are simply being replaced with more agreeable ones. Volunteer service should be respected and not discarded without transparency. That sends a message to all the commissions and future volunteers. I urge you to reject this proposal, or at the very least, explain to the public why removing every single member is in the best interest of Westtown Township, not just the Board of Supervisors. Thank you for your time.
I think there is an issue with the glitch.
No, I think my name's done.
Well, she did say I heard she. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Um, So it doesn't seem like we have an issue here. It's online. The click share is not working. It's supposed to be green.
Oh,
I don't know why it's not working. Let's see if it's working. This don't. Yeah, there's an issue with the click share.
can you have them submit instead of since it's can't speak?
Um, let's see if it's working. I'm gonna try it again. It was an issue with the click share. It should be all good.
So Jennifer's hand up, but Mary, would you finish what you wanted to say? Mary Sue?
We would have to read through the transcript. You just have to unmute yourself.
What are you asking?
Oh, there you go.
We can hear you, Mary.
I have nothing else to say.
Okay. Thank you. That's great. Jennifer also have hand up. Jennifer, did you want to speak? I think we have one more person in-house.
Clarifying question as to who do you have in place then to safeguard historic resources and who's going to help the township to celebrate 250 that this issue is right now and next year as it continues into next year and plan for that and maybe don't table try to figure out how for sad disappointed residents when they don't have guides for our
We're not dissolving the committee.
But you're getting rid of all your members, you have members like people, somebody here in the township who's going to be able to lead the township through these events and to help residents who have homes or attack issues. Even just wanting to know about local history. I spend a lot of time doing research. You have for that. For the general stuff that happens like every day in global history, but specific this year.
Well, we're very fortunate to have one of our board members is a noted historian, was on the historical commission, and has done a number of 250 activities already. Ray, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, it's gonna be in the newsletter that's coming out, my whole background, so that you can pontificate on it, but the main thing is my house is built in 1734, and I invite you all to come to the house. Because it's exactly the way it should be, 1734. It took me 2 years and $2.5 million to to take it back. I used to provide it to the Chester County Historical Society when they did their tours. However, they didn't watch it very well. And that's another story. So I'm on the Battlefield Commission. I am part of the Battlefield over here in Chad's Ford. See me every Sunday. I will give you a tour of the houses. Excuse me?
We're talking about West Town. Who's gonna pick up after these guys leave? So you'll be a commissioner of one and not even.
No, hey, how will be a Commissioner one? You all are gonna volunteer, you know that. No?
We all are gonna volunteer.
Well, that's what we need is more people in West Town become volunteers.
I'm commissioners. And we don't do as much as the West Town Commission does, but they're awesome. And I just question whether one person, no matter how wonderful, no matter how people you are.
Right.
20%. It's a lot. I know, it's a lot.
That's why you're gonna help me.
I am.
Come to my house and I'll make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich you can talk about.
But.
I invited everybody in the commission. Nobody except.
I can't follow. And I just want to make sure that the.
Let me tell you what happens in other townships. Let me tell you about Montgomery County. Montgomery County, no. I'll give you a suggestion. If you have problems, you break the historic commission away from it. They can independently run and they can make their own money. They can make their own tours. They can buy their own houses. That's what they do in Montgomery County. Why not?
People working together or cause.
You can still work together, but even better, you'll get more people involved in it. People have applied for this commission and
So you're saying you have people, you're all great, that's what you're saying, your plan is to hopefully get more volunteers. Run things up yourself, and you out of your house, and, I'm just hoping that you're not the insurance. This is too crazy, it means a lot to a lot of people, I mean, I've seen a lot of villages active, it does mean a lot. And I think especially getting one short subject to explain this issue in such a really important time for our country and our community. So I appreciate, I know that's long, but clarifying question, I
like,
appreciate at least thinking about, what's gonna happen.
okay.
Oh, there's one.
Yes.
Wilson Corcoran, 1007 Dundee Road. I just want to start by saying that was a good way to say it one. $2.1 million renovation. I'm sure that's big to all of us.
2.5 million.
2.5, thank you.
You got your taxes are gonna go up.
Yeah. So I should start by saying this. You guys obviously have power, you're sitting on a higher stage than us.
No, I don't have power.
You don't have power?
No.
When you get rid of a whole department just because they disagree with you, you know what that makes you? A bully. No one likes bullies. And on a bigger term.
Don't assume. Don't that you know all the facts.
Don't interrupt. There's no idea.
You say this, yeah, go ahead, speak.
Hang on. You're making that you're interrupting. What the hell? I've lived in West Town my whole life. I love the community, and at most, I love the history. A lot of things have gone down here, and other places don't have the privileges that we have about the history. So getting rid of it just because they disagree with you, that isn't democracy, that's a dictatorship. Thank you.
So all in favor? Aye.
Disgraceful.
We continue the meeting. Okay, moving on to announcements. The Environmental Advisory Council vacancy. Residents with an interest in environmental issues and sustainability are encouraged to apply. For more information, visit EAC webpage or contact the township manager. We have yoga for adults on Tuesday, July 28th at 7 p.m. The ENR Summer Concert, The Sprawlers, Wednesday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. Birds Thursday, July 23rd at 5:30 p.m. Outdoor Adventure Camp will hike for Common Adventures, Monday, July 27th. Friday, July 31st, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Westchester Area POG celebration, America's 50 celebration on Sunday, August 2nd from 4 to 8 p.m. This event is hosted by the Westchester Area Council of Governments, comprised of 7 municipalities including Westtown. Enjoy a living history block party in downtown Westchester from 4 to 8, followed by a drone show at 9 p.m. Yard waste collection is Friday, August 14th. Yard waste must be in biodegradable paper bags or containers that can be dumped. Plastic bags are not accepted. Branches under 3 inches in diameter must be cut approximately 3 foot bundled in 5 and placed at the curb by 6 a.m. on collection day. No rocks, logs, stumps, dirt, or ashes will be taken. And moving on to public comment, all topics.
I just want to thank the commission for allowing me to serve as chairman of the commission. Sorry to say, have to end this way. Appreciate your efforts. Usually it's time.
I'd like to request that we get a better camera system. So I have thoroughly enjoyed your micro expressions, your twisting your finger, your stress, your breathing routine, trying to stay calm, and collected, and your best English face. People who are online can't see it, but it's all blurred out. Higher quality camera, more thick crowds, and let's get that sound fixed. Thank you.
Any comment from the online audience? Okay, payment of bills. A motion is in order to approve general fund bills in the amount of $24,227.72. Enterprise fund bills of $13,019.65. Liggett fee card bills of $152,584.51. PGPS Liggett Capital Project Fund bills of $808,619.10. And capital project fund bills in the amount of $42,610.60 for a grand total of $1,041,061.98.
Second.
Any comment from the in-house audience? Any comment from the online audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ready?